What's up everybody? Welcome to another episode of B is for Build, and welcome to us starting a new build. Behind me is my 1993 JDM Toyota Supra. You guys might remember we went all the way over to Japan to check this thing out before we shipped it across the country, and then we sold it, and then we bought it back, and it is here today, and it's ready to be restored. This car is a pretty amazing car. It's the 6-speed twin turbo model. Most of these are fetching about 6 figures right now on auction, and I would like to bring this car's value back up to that 6-figure mark. Fully restore it, add some tasteful mods, and have a really great driver's car. These two JZA engines can make a ton of power. This transmission can hold all the power that it can make. Overall, it's just gonna be a really great driver's car that I can't wait to have join the collection of great driver's cars that we build here. So we're gonna jump into it, and in today's episode, we're gonna be investigating how far does the damage go? How many parts do I need to order for this car? I've already ordered a ton, but I think we're gonna need to order some more. So let's jump into it. So for a little refresher, this car was bought on an online auction in Japan, and then it went to a warehouse where we saw it in Japan, and then it got shipped over here. I've never heard the engine run. I was told it does run. I know the clutch is all sorts of messed up, so that ain't gonna happen. But in today's episode, we're gonna be mostly looking at the crash damage, how much it affected on this front end, and how many different parts we need to get for the front end. So let's do a quick damage overview. Obviously, the vehicle got hit right here coming in the front, smashed up this headlight, came through here, and then I was told it spun into a Japanese guardrail, and then it took a lot of damage here. The hood is toast, really weird, like on top of the hood stuff, which maybe it went under a guardrail, I'm not really sure. Then coming back here, this door is pretty good except for a ding that it got right here. Clearly must have just smashed the door handle. And then it came back into the rear quarter panel that dented this in real good. That's gonna be one of the harder areas to repair, certainly on this vehicle. Oh, before I say too many words, there will be a boat update and a Mustang update in this episode, I promise. Coming around, the rear bumper looks smushed, but with a little heat gunning, that thing might pop right back into shape, not really sure. And then as we come around here, this is all super clean, so a little fast forwarding. Damaged front fender, totaled front bumper, totaled what is a driver's headlight in a JDM car, but we'd call it passenger headlight here in the States. And then a lot of what I want to figure out today is, let's deal with this core sport. Is this salvageable? Is this in the right spot? Is it happy where it's at, etc., etc. So that's what we're going to be diving into. So before I start ripping into this car, I do just want to say this has been a bucket list car of mine my entire life. Obviously, my first car was an '87 Toyota Supra, so the generation before this. I was obviously grew up in the generation that, lived, ate, breathed Fast and the Furious. Always wanted one of these cars, never thought I'd be able to, but thankfully for all you guys watching the channel, we were able to afford this one at auction many years ago before the price went up so much. And this is a really cool opportunity to be able to build this car. So I feel really privileged and like I have a good amount of responsibility to build this car right, and we shall do that. This isn't a salvaged car. This isn't a destroyed car. We're not gluing two cars together. This is a piece of history, and we're going to treat it with lots of respect as we go through the build. So we're going to go ahead. I think the headlights are clearly toast, but some of the all of the connectors on the back are good, and there's something I need to look at to make sure I order the new headlights the right way. So let's go ahead and take the headlights out first. I think by the end of all that, I actually figured out where all the bolts are supposed to go in the headlights, which is good that I'm learning on the bad ones. I got the brackets out of the fenders as well. You Supra owners will know that there's some brackets hidden back there inside the fenders, and those are going to be saved for the next set. So the headlights, the surrounds, we were able to salvage all the wiring and everything is still totally fine. This surround over here, this one's good. The core sport over here, all good. Everything's fine there. Coming over here though, there is a little bit of damage. There's some damage to this guy, which I don't know. It is tack welded to the core support there, so I'm not sure if it's a core support piece or not. That bolts up in the fender. Right here we got a kink. It's a very, very small kink, but it is a kink. And there we have a dent. And then this piece over here, whew, that's a doozy. So some of these pieces need to be replaced, and I need to figure out everything that I need to order, because that's what I'm most worried about right now, is the wait time on if I need to order this entire piece or not, and stuff like that. We got to have all OEM metal that's all perfectly good looking though in the end on this thing. So the next step I think is going to be taking off this bumper. It is also another totaled part, so I don't have to be too gentle, but I'm just keeping an eye out for pieces that I need to save. Like for instance, this rubber piece right here, I need to keep this in perfect condition so I can reuse it. So I'll be gentle but forceful and pulling out this bumper and the blinker light. It is so cool, just taking this shot right here where I got my Supra right here, my Huracan right there. Like, I'm such a happy car guy right now. This is crazy. I'm kind of like a little taken back. I've wanted to have this car for so long in my life. I have no idea why I let it sit for so long, but I'm so excited now that I'm jumping into this to get a step closer to when this thing is done. Oh man, it's gonna be so exciting to have this car. I've wanted one of these forever. Never thought I'd have one either, so I guess I'm still kind of like, I think in my head I thought I'd never have one of these, so then when the time came that I had one that just needed a little bit of work, maybe I just thought it was like too good to be true or something. I don't know why I didn't start working on this sooner, but I am very excited that I'm working on it. Anyways, the damage is not too bad. Let me show you around. So let's start with the first place that I would look, which is the frame rail. I see that the frame rail has a little dent, and the question is it bent? And no, the frame rail is dead straight. It lines up with the front impact bar. The front impact bar is disconnected because the bolts sheared when this thing got in an accident, but they all line right back up, so that'll bolt right back up in, which means that our front impact bar, or not our front impact bar, sorry, our front frame rail is dead straight. Now it does have a dent in it, but that's the type of dent that you can grab a crescent wrench and grab onto the pinch of sheet metal right there. Like you kind of take the crescent wrench, or call it adjustable wrench, whatever you want, and then you just start kind of bending that metal out. Then I'll have to sand it up, clean it up, paint it with this factory gray color. I got to get this gray color in, and then it will be back to perfect. So that's good. Let's talk about what's not perfect and has to be replaced. Like I said, this car is going to be treated and built to full-on restoration. We want to keep the dollar amount value of this really high as well. So all of this sheet metal, could I rebuild it and like build something pretty fast in a day that, you know, would do the job? Yeah, but then it wouldn't look OEM and it wouldn't look factory. So these are the things that we got to replace. This is a bolt in and out piece. This piece coming across here and going down here, and then it wraps all the way around. You can see this is an example of the other side that is in perfect condition. That is a bolt in and out piece, and that needs to be purchased. And then this is a bigger piece, and this needs to be purchased. And I believe that's going to include a little bit of welding, but obviously nothing that we can't handle. The reason being, there's a little crinkle in this guy right here, and this is a little bent in, and this is a little bent right here. But I want this to be a clean restoration, so as long as that piece exists, I need to buy it. There's something else that I needed to buy too. I was just thinking about. Oh, yeah, right down here. This is the line. This line and this line got crunched and munched. Sorry, the camera's really not focusing very well. These guys crunched. These are the air conditioning condenser lines. So the condenser lines, they're gonna run from here back to the air conditioning system. They're easily replaceable. I have no idea the part number. Then up here are the power steering cooler lines. There's one here and one here. There's two of them also crunched and damaged. They're fine in the front of the car because the actual front of the car took like no impact whatsoever. But they're damaged back there, which means we need to get them replaced. So I have a favor to ask the community. I don't want to ask anybody to do actual work and like hunt down these part numbers, but if any of you guys are like crazy Supra gurus and you know every part number and you're like that dedicated to this car, if anybody knows the part numbers for the parts that I just pointed out, drop them in the comments or email them to me, and then it'll help me like source them. And if you happen to have these parts laying around, hit me up. I know with some of these older JDM cars, it can be hard, and I don't need the JDM version. I'm sure the USDM version, it will be the exact same. But I know it can sometimes be hard to source these parts. But I think I've found both of these. The core support parts are the ones that really matter the most to me. And I think I found both of these online already, but couldn't hurt to have more resources. It's like honestly the hardest part of rebuilding these cars is figuring out the part numbers and sourcing the original OEM parts from factory. Overall though, that's really good news for the amount of damage in the front end. I know that there is some side curtain damage up here that we are hiding with this fender. Let's go ahead and get this fender off of here, and we'll be able to assess the amount of damage that happened underneath it and figure out how we're gonna fix it. Well, this fender itself is obviously a little beyond repair, but let's look at the frame, the apron of the car here. It seems to have taken a little dent here, maybe a little dent here, and a bigger dent right here. It looks like this ridge was built into the car, and I'm not sure how much of that rolls forward. I can't imagine that this was caused during the accident, this lip fall off here. I think it looks a lot more like a drain, but I'm gonna have to ask one of my Supra friends. It looks like a drain to me. But this is relatively easy to fix. I'm gonna have to cut it out, straighten it, and then once this is cut out, I can have room to straighten this, and then I can weld it back in here. I'm pretty sure that's the way it's supposed to go. Now, the best way to figure that out though is gonna be to remove this fender. This fender could probably be repaired, but well, depending on next steps for this build, it will either be repaired or replaced in one way or another. But I will, so pull it off gently like I've been doing with everything else. Learned on the first one that's damaged, exactly where all the bolts are, and I'll get after it. Okay, great news. When we pulled off the other side, we saw this gutter that runs through here. That's as designed. So this ledge that was right here. Obviously, we have a dent on the other side. This piece is actually supposed to be flat, so that wasn't dented. That indentation was already there, so that wasn't dented. And then there's this big weird thing that kind of comes out here and then comes back in, and that's as designed as well. So that's all good because those were the things that were like worrying me on the other side. So yes, we have a little bit of repair to do on the other side, but it's nothing catastrophic. I knew that if it was hit this way, that this wouldn't buckle out. It would buckle the other way. It would close up, but it was just wanted for a little peace of mind. That was good. So I think I've got my list of how bad the damage is. I mean, obviously we have this rear quarter panel back here that's damaged, but I know how cars are designed in general, and I know what this entails. So that is a lot of work to fix, but nothing that's like too big of a question mark to me. It's finally getting a little bit hot in Oregon. Heating up in the shop. So that is where we're at with the damage on the Supra. I told you guys I would give you a Mustang update and a boat update, and I would love to talk about that. All right, so the Mustang is the easiest one. We're still waiting on parts and the 3-piece wheels to get made. That's gonna take a while, and we're talking to some people at SEMA. We may just set that up so that the finished version debuts at SEMA, because that's always a fun thing to do. So that's where that's at. Now the boat, I said I'd get started working on the boat, and what I really meant was Oscar get started working on the boat. Ta-da! So those of you that are keen viewers know that these are our LSX bored and stroked LSX blocks. That one is the one that we test ran for the boat already, and then you'll see this one over here. You can tell it hasn't been painted yet. Is the one that Oscar's been working on. So packaging all this stuff up takes a very, very good amount of time, so we're reusing a lot of parts, and they all have to be kind of assembled and plumbed and everything in a custom way. But I did want to let you guys know that boat work is in progress, and this is the good stuff that has to happen. Once this one is set up, then we'll bench test both of them here at the shop. Then they will go into the boat once we are very confident that they will run and heat cycle and everything will work properly. We've already ran that one, but we didn't get to like fully heat cycle it and run it through its paces. So that's where we're at with the boat stuff. Very, very exciting. I'm bummed I missed the 4th of July here in Portland, but it was fine watching it from the dock. I'm hyped on this Supra, guys. I'm really hyped. We're gonna get to work with so many great companies too to make upgrades on this thing. This is gonna be a hell of a build. And I'm pretty excited with the amount of damage that we have to deal with. It's not something that's too scary for me. It's something I can definitely handle as long as I can source the parts. Because doing this OEM correct is very important to me. So this is gonna be a hell of a build. I'm very excited. In the next episode, we're gonna see if this thing will run for us. It has sat for probably between 4 and 5 years, remember, without ever running. So that's gonna be really exciting in the next episode. Will it run? Will it start up? Thank you so much for watching. Make sure to subscribe, and I'll see you soon.